Hi, everyone, and welcome. My name is Vinny. So, you know how we usually have this idea, this we paint this picture in our minds, usually when we're younger, about how our life is going to go, what are we going to do, right? What kind of person we're going to be, um, what are we going to do for a living, all of these things, right? And have you noticed how usually it never ends out the way we pictured? In this day and age, this is more truthful than anything, to be honest. And I bet a lot of people will be able to resonate with that message and what I'm talking about today. And I wanted to I wanted to kind of like give it a logical, reasonable sort of explanation as to why that happens. Well, first of all, when we're younger, we kind of somehow, some way, sort of like intuitively know what's best for us. Before, for lack of better terms, okay, let's just say before our hearts and minds get corrupted by this social machine that's been built, constructed, and engineered to do exactly that. So before the corruption completely sips in and takes control, we kind of have an idea of what would be best for us and what we would like to do, love to do. Everybody knows that, I mean, you can ask kids, young kids, I'm talking about young, 3, 4 years old, somewhere around there, until about 6 or so, I'd say. They kind of know what they want to do if you ask them. They're not gonna they're not gonna usually hesitate in giving you a straight answer to that question if you actually ask them. But then as you are growing and you're having all these external factors, you know, uh, uh, sort of like dictate how you're going to go on about your life. And that includes the parents, the grandparents, all kinds of like generational things that happen in every family. And then you have the social machine, the external factors, right? School, um, friendship groups. It's like everything that's out there that influences people, that has the power to actually influence and manipulate how you think, how you see things, how you feel about not only everything but yourself. And with the evolution of technology to get to the point where it has today, with all these you know mobile devices, tablets, computers, the age of technology, as I call it, it only it only it only made this process happen faster, but it also worsened the whole picture and the scenario for pretty much everybody across the board. And this is the reason why, by default, most people are unhappy with the current state of their lives. And most of the people that deny that fact, they're lying to you and they're lying to themselves. And this might trigger some people. And if this triggered you, you should be asking yourself the question, why did that trigger me? Because there are reasons behind that triggering. So think deeply. But before you start pointing fingers and getting mad at the messenger, right? Don't shoot the messenger. I'm here just relaying a message that I think it's about time everybody hears. So, like I've said many, many, many times before, I'm not here to tell you what to do in your life. Because I'm not the one in control of your life. You are. You're at the helm. You are the decision maker. You are the one who knows what's best for you. But the question that you have to ask yourself is, are you actually making the right decisions and always doing or choosing the option that is the one that is the best one for you? Or are you instead making everybody else's lives better while you keep digging a hole for yourself and making your life worse? Those are the questions that you have to ask yourself, the hard questions. I know facing the truth isn't an easy thing for a majority of us. But there will come a point in everybody's lives where they're going to have to face themselves one way or another. Whether it is by choice or by force. And what do I mean by force? Well, what I mean is when nature plays its role to the point where you can no longer avoid yourself and keep running from yourself, and you finally decide to take a very deep look inside yourself, and look at yourself straight in the mirror and face you as you truly are. These things are not easy to do, my friends. I'm not here claiming that this is easy to do. Okay? But it's not hard either. It's a matter of knowing and understanding what is best for you and what's right for you. And sometimes we have the wrong ideas and the wrong concepts and things like that. And we're looking at the things from the wrong angle, so to speak. And that's why we can't see certain things before they end up playing themselves out. And they turn out to not play themselves out the way we thought they would. It's the way life works for just about everybody. Because I've said this in the past, no matter how many times you plan something and you have this perfect picture in your mind of how things are going to be for you, how you're going to do this, how you're going to do that, how everything is going to turn out. It's never going to happen exactly the way you think it's going to happen. Because there are those factors about life and about this realm, certain universal rules that they're always going to be there, whether you acknowledge them or not. And these rules and the way some of these things play out, they don't care about what you think or how you feel. They're just going to be there, always present, always doing their own thing. And we have to learn how to recognize these things and respect them for what they are and what they do. But to make it short, like I've said it in the past, I lost count how many times I talked about this. If you wanna make it short and easy to understand, it's just a decision-making process and then living with the result of that decision making process or the results of those decisions that you made. And that is all that it is. So if some of you are still out there, living with that person that wasn't the right choice to begin with, but you keep somehow trying to convince yourself that that was the case because you're trying to cope with your bad decision making, that's on you. You can't blame anybody else but yourself. And let's take that outside of the context of relationships. But this is an issue that most people have, right? That's why I use the relationship example. Because most couples out there are not with the right person, unfortunately. Because we like to cope. We like to justify our bad decision making. We like to be with others for so many different reasons, but they're all, really related to that super ego and things like that, which is codependency, having that someone by our side that kind of gives you this false idea, sense, or feeling of feeling seen, heard, and all these things that some people long for, without realizing that you don't need anything outside of you to feel these things and to have these things in your life, right? So there's a lot of things. There's a lot of things going on. And, like I said, I'm not here to tell you what to do with your life. That is your decision making. Those are your choices to make, not mine. But I'm just stating some hard facts of life here that most people choose to ignore entirely throughout their entire lives sometimes without ever looking at it. Because the minute that some people step out of their comfort zones, their entire reality, their entire world that is a fabrication and it's not really true, crumbles around them. And that is not an easy thing to do sometimes for a lot of people. And that's the biggest reason why most people choose not to change anything in their lives. But whether that change comes by your choice or not, one thing is for certain: change will happen. Change will come. Because life is never linear like you think it is. There's a lot of pieces of cog into this machinery that go together and kind of like, create this symphony, so to speak, of what life is supposed to be about. And most of us never actually get to see that and how beautiful it really is if we actually go along with the tunes instead of not looking at it. So yeah, this is kind of like an off-the-cuff thing for me today. I didn't even know what I was going to talk about today, to be honest. Usually I kind of like to have a few things on the back of my mind that I kind of know I could talk about. But today I kind of told myself, you know what, before I record this, I'm not even going to know what I'm going to be talking about. I'm just going to let it come out naturally. And this is what came out. So I hope you liked it. But, one thing is for certain, we have to learn how to look at ourselves sometimes and face the facts and some things that we don't usually feel comfortable with doing. Because the day we do that right, we really begin to change our lives for the better. And then there's this whole roller coaster effect that comes after that. And I'm not going to tell you because you're going to figure it out one way or another. Right? That's how it goes. We got to figure it out. Nobody's going to tell us. Listen to yourself. Listen to your heart. You've always known what to do and how to go on about things. You just chose not to act upon it, that's all. So I hope you all have a great day. I'm gonna end this one here. And if you like the channel, don't forget to hit the like button, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. And I will catch you all on the next one. Till next time, my friends. Take care, be safe, and I'll catch you later. Bye.